Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
All right, welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Oh, hello, and welcome to the KVJ After the Show broadcast here for Wednesday. Nice to see y'all make it through the week.
We did it.
Yes.
Made it through the hump.
Yeah. It's very warm out there. Oh. Notice we're trying to get to that point, but man, I got to tell you, I was kind of looking because, you know, I'm in the circles still, a little connected to Ohio, whatnot, always checking on my Buckeye news, and they had people in their cars yesterday. They're like, what the hell? It was like 98 degrees, 100 degrees. It's the weirdest thing because, you know, I came from southeastern Ohio, and I've lived in Kansas City in the Midwest. And it's insane because I still connect a little bit and keep an eye on what's going on in those areas. Something has really kind of shifted. They seem to get crazy-ass freezing cold winters that are miserable. And then all of a sudden, I told you, and now this is back in the late 90s, but my last year in Kansas City, it was miserably cold. And spring and decent weather was 2 weeks long. And then it went to like what we have in South Florida. And I will swear sometimes you go and it feels just like South Florida. I'm like, well, why am I putting up with a miserable winter if all I get is 2 weeks of good weather? And I'm looking at what's going on in the country right now. I think they had Chicago at 100 degrees today.
Oh, my word.
And so we talk about it being warm, but it's getting to the point where the Midwest, upper Midwest, it's getting unlivable because it's the worst weather ever. And I love Kansas City. It's a beautiful city, and the people there are phenomenal. The climate is atrocious because you're always miserable outside. You're never like, gosh, what a lovely day. It's just terrible. So, I mean, if we're bitching about it being warm, and I looked on the map, and it had us, you know, like around 89 or whatever, and you get even to Atlanta, and it was well into the 90s.
Even if you had perfect weather and it was awesome, eventually humans would start bitching.
Well, people are going to bitch, but yeah, I'm just saying that it's whatever's going on with the climate thing. It's making some parts of America absolutely miserable year-round. You would be like, okay, we'll put up with winter because summer's on the way, but now your summer is 100 degrees and 85% humidity.
And it's changed because it wasn't like this when you were growing up.
It affects your mood.
It does.
It really
Big
does.
time does. Yeah, I'm very big on weather, and that's why when I got to South Florida and the sun and the awesome weather, I'm like, it's just what it makes up for me and how I feel all the time. I'm like, you couldn't pay me in the money. I can't imagine how much you'd have to pay me where that would balance out me being in cold and everything else.
I'd mentioned yesterday, I go, if someone's, you know, listening and they're driving around and their air conditioning's broken, they got to go through that South Florida heat. I was talking about how it can really affect your mood and make you miserable. Someone sent me this long email about how they just got air conditioning in their car and so much of their life is going better now because they're getting along with their mate. They're doing better at their job. They were basically saying, it turned me into an asshole because I had to drive so far. They had to drive an hour in the heat up and back to work. That's 2 hours in your car, sweating your balls or your, you know,
well, and then you look at the problem I always have with that, you look at when you get out of your car and you go into a regular meeting, you're so disheveled. Your hair is stuck to your face. You're flush. You don't look right.
You get judged
people
a lot of times on how you look.
Well, even if it's a 5-minute ride, it's fucking miserable. Driving an hour in the heat, and if you're on 95, you have to have the windows down to get a little bit of wind in there.
Totally, so but then you look like you've been in a wind tunnel.
You have sex hair.
You can't win.
No.
Yeah. We had our air out last week, and it was brutal for about 3 days. It was gone, and it does change things, but you know, even other places like somebody in the chat room, T-Conk, saying it's in the 80s right now in Alaska, and a majority of the homes there were built without AC because they never needed it before.
Wow.
And now you do.
And I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a fuck ton of peen in Alaska. It's all about the peen and not the beaver.
I think it's 9-1.
Is it really 9 to what a sausage fest? Oh
How did Jewel ever make it out of there alive?
9 to 1. Oh my gosh, parties must have really either sucked or it was awesome in high school, depending on. If I went to a party where there were 9 chicks, I'm like, this is fucking sweet.
Yeah. Michael is listening to us right now in Bangkok, and he said it's 91 here at 9 p.m.
Wow.
So it's everywhere.
Wow, what's he do during the night in Bangkok? What's he doing out there?
In Bangkok?
Yeah.
I don't know what you doing, Michael.
One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that song?
Yeah, I do.
I do, yeah.
Do you like my rendition?
Not really.
Damn.
I love it when you sing. Come
I'll
on.
sing for you.
I'm just kidding. I love when anybody sings.
Yeah, so it's times are crazy right now.
Does Alaska at all appeal to, even for a 2-week vacation, all paid in a nice...
I'd check it out. I like, touching upon other places just to kind of know. I mean, I've been to Montana. I did that for a week's vacation one time, and then I'm glad I went. I don't know that I have any desire to go rushing back, but it was beautiful.
Montana is one of those ones I'd like to fucking
nice.
delve deep into.
Right, like
Your
it's
boy
very
John
beautiful.
Mayer's always out there.
I feel like if you move out to Montana, you're going through some shit and you need to find out some answers you're working with.
If you like nature, beauty, and isolation, that's your place.
I'd love to go out there and run into John Mayer.
You always wonder, when people want to get away, I want to go out to the woods, I want to go out to the Montana. I think people would like that for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they realize my problems are still here, and now I'm alone in this fucking desolate
I'm
area.
in Montana.
Yeah.
Only thing to talk to out here is moose.
Yeah.
I'm fucking, now I got a whole set of different depression problems.
We got a bunch of your emails that came in here today on the regular show. We talked to Virginia's daughter, Magnolia, who came on in full defense of how braces do change the appearance of your nose and why she now needs a nose job because she loves her straight teeth, but now she's got a bump in her nose because of her braces. And people like Sarah, who is a certified orthodontist dental assistant, who tries to assure us that it's crazy. It doesn't move your face structure. Magnolia would say they have a vested interest in saying that.
Yes, she told me that yesterday.
Max coming in here with conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Kevin, she sent me stuff that she wanted to bring up, and she's mad because she didn't have a chance to bring it up. But
I don't know if it was going to help.
she highlighted like all these medical journals and
Yeah, I think she wanted to do a full PowerPoint. We need probably a good half hour to just book off for Mags.
And you're not going to get a lot of people that's going
Yeah.
to side with Max getting a nose job because most of the people that listen to this program agree with me and think Magnolia does not need a nose job.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need to be discussed about it because her nose is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I feel.
She's 17. There's 2 questions. One, she's got a year before she can make those kind of decisions on her own. And you're talking about the money as well. Any ballpark figure on how much a nose job costs?
I think a nose job costs like a minimum of like $6,000.
Okay.
It's up there with the tits.
I think it depends on how much you have to have done to your nose. So she just wants this part, this little bridge part here, shaved down, whatever
Okay.
that means. I don't know how the whole thing
There's
works.
some people I know that could do that for her. It's in a garage, but they would be happy to try to help out.
You know me, I would never.
Yeah.
But some people have to have their nose like broken.
Oh,
and
wow.
then
Yeah.
I think that's more expensive.
They say the prices range from $3,000 to $7,000. Average cost of rhinoplasty is $5,350, according to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons.
Look, I'm just trying to be a friend to you and to everyone involved here. I don't personally think, but this is where it gets weird because it's not my kid, but we're talking about it on the air, and then if I don't say anything, well, Bird, you fucking silence is violence. So I want
I
to
don't know if anybody's going to say silence is violence.
But you get accused of not speaking up your opinion. I think you and Panda need to encourage her to like her nose the way it is as much as possible.
I have.
hear
And that
ya.
has been the dialogue. I'm like, I love your nose. I think it's beautiful. And I always bring it back to, well, I have a big nose and I haven't gotten it done yet. So why do you need your nose done?
But it's also tough too because you are a person that you're pro cosmetic stuff.
I am.
So it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to say no, Mags, blah blah blah, because I do it too. But you can always throw the age back at her. Not till you get your own money. Until
Totally.
you are on your own. But then I sound like now I'm butting in and
No, you
trying
don't
to
sound like you're
involve.
butting in. I think that all the valid points you're making are all the things that I've said to her. But it's not helping her at all that she hangs out with some kids that go to Benjamin. And over the weekend, she was hanging out with a little girl that went to Benjamin, and the little girl was telling her all about her nose job. And the little girl was like, it was the best thing I ever did. I'm so happy. I don't try to hide the fact that I did it. I tell everybody that I did it, and I encourage people to do it for their self-confidence. And so Mags was just like, I mean, it was everything she wanted to hear. A ringing endorsement for everything in her head by this girl that just went through it.
Yeah. It is honestly an added parental struggle I've noticed raising kids in South Florida compared to where I grew up, which is considered impoverished. And my daughter grew up going to high school in Boca, and so they it's a whole different world, and so they do have those kind of added pressures. And there are a lot of rich kids, and they love to flaunt it, and so it is an added struggle. I mean, we had to put down a couple of flare-ups, which they want things, but I don't relate to it at all, and it's really tough for me, but that's what your daughter's going to be hearing nonstop.
And that's what I was trying to explain earlier too. I grew up in a different kind of culture at my house, and we, although we get along great, we are definitely opposites on certain worldviews. So it's I'm the wrong person to run this shit by. Especially if it's kids underage. I think that there's a real fucked up problem with social media on top of making. Not only is it fucking with little kids, it's fucking with humans in general. And we're trying to. I'm saying all the buzzwords, but I just don't. My stomach goes like this. Every time we bring it up, I'll go, "Oh, that's fucked. That's fucked." Every time I hear it, every time.
My parents didn't have that kind of money to ever think about any kind of plastic surgery for any of us, and it wasn't even in their realm of thinking. But I grew up, and one of my best friends growing up, her name was Rebecca. She hated her nose, and bless her heart, she got her daddy's nose, and it was big, and she got teased mercilessly, and I felt so bad for her. And then her dad, he was a doctor, and so when she turned 16, he said, "We'll get you a nose job. That'll be our gift to you." And so she got one, and, it was a big deal. So I saw it growing up, and I saw, how happy she was and how life-changing it was for her. So I kind of have a different perspective that I grew up watching one of my very close friends get a nose job as a 16-year-old.
You're describing two kind of different scenarios. I mean, I understand surgeries if there's something that's really, there's something going on there. Magnolia's nose is perfectly fine.
She would say to you, you need to see the side profile because...
But then I would go back and go, Max, everybody's got little things about their... I mean, there's a lot of shit on my body that I'm like, fuck,
Pull up
why?
a chair and let me show you everything fucked up on my body.
Yeah, it's just, that's the lesson I would like to...
Hey, let me show you my body, Max.
No,
Yeah.
what?
Come here, girl.
Oh, come on. Stop making this weird. I'm trying to be
I'll
fucking
keep my clothes
helpful
on.
over here. I need to shut the fuck up.
I'm just messing with you.
A couple of emails. Larry had said, we know somebody just took her 14-year-old daughter to Colombia to have a nose job prior to her 15th birthday.
Oh,
So
my.
that
I'm
kind of
not
stuff's
doing
happening.
that. I mean, that's just...
Well, that's an extra expense.
I would not go to Colombia for plastic surgery just because I don't think they have the same standards as the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. I want board certification. I want people that are here and qualified and have tons of experience. I would never go out of the country.
Where did Kanye's mom go?
Don't go there.
Great question. Well, she actually... I don't think it was out of the country. I think it was in Texas somewhere. I'm not positive. But she went to one doctor, and the first doctor said, I won't do it because of your EKG. It came back, and you are too risky and high risk to actually have the anesthesia. It'd be bad for you. So the first doctor told Kanye's mom no. The second doctor she went to did it anyway, regardless. I don't know if he even ran an EKG or not. And that's when she died. With the second doctor, after the first one told her don't do it. So shopping around just to find somebody that'll say yes, that's a scary thing too.
Lisa said, I had a very big complex about my nose. I had a bump in it. I begged my mom for my 16th birthday to get a nose job. At that point, I found out that she had also had one years prior, so she understood. It was definitely a good thing for me and improved my self-confidence. The doctors told me that you had to be 16 years old, and at that point, your nose had pretty much stopped growing, but the bump in the nose was a family trait that I never had. Braces. I think it just all depends on how self-conscious Magnolia is about it, and would it help her self-confidence. I thought I had heard that your nose always continues to grow. That's what many people had said.
Yeah, what is the truth on that? Somebody else told us yesterday your nose and ears keep growing, which is horrifying because I already have a big schnoz.
I mean,
it might be the case in point that you just don't get great advice because there's so many vested interests, and if somebody stands to make money, can you trust them?
Can you trust anybody in this world?
No.
Don't we all have an agenda to a certain extent?
Well, if you... According to certain philosophers, Virginia, yes. Everybody on the planet has some type of agenda with every move they make.
Yeah. So here we are. Now what?
Doesn't mean it's you're at an evil lair petting your cat, but there is an agenda. If you want a sandwich, there is some. If you break it down, there is an agenda of sorts. Yeah. But that's a little fucking deep. I mean, it's hard to get into a debate with somebody who you took off your widow's peak. So
I know
you weren't happy with yours. When I hear that, I think that's silly. Widow's peak, you know what I mean? But that's the difference of perspectives we're dealing with here.
I thought it made me look like Eddie Munster. So
what the fuck is wrong with Eddie Munster?
It's weird.
No, you barely had a noticeable widow's peak. I noticed because I have a legit widow's peak. You had a bitch ass widow's peak.
Not no more.
Does Magnolia know how much cosmetic procedures you've done?
No. So she knows I've done a few things, but she's never asked for the laundry list, and it is a laundry list.
Right.
But, I mean, I think as she gets older...
She's aware you've done some stuff.
Definitely.
Look, there's no way Magnolia doesn't know shit.
Oh, yeah. She knows. She knows what's up.
She knows what's up.
And I tell her, you wrecked my boobs first, and then I had to get them lifted, and then your brother wrecked them. So y'all are part of the problem.
Okay.
At least you gave life. My tits are all wrecked just from eating fucking snacks. You gave life. What did I give?
Pastry.
We got Christina here with a request for some recommendations for a bachelorette party. She said, I'm hosting a West Palm Beach-based bachelorette trip this upcoming August, and I was wondering if you had any good recommendations. I know I want to end our night at E.R. Bradley's. Do you have recommendations for a bar crawl that might end at Bradley's? I live in New York City, and there's a company here where they set up drinks and drawing materials and have a hunky male nude model show up.
Well.
And teach you how to sketch. Do you know of anything fun and scandalous like this in West Palm?
I know a guy you can get cheap. If you want to sketch a nude,
oh, yeah.
I can set this up for you.
That is one gig I would sign up for.
That'd be so fun.
That would be fun. It would be the most terrible looking paintings ever.
But the video would be amazing.
So fun.
Okay, you let her know, Kevin. If she wants, I got her model right here. I will find a space.
Wait, they want to paint? No, I would paint them.
No. They want to paint you.
Fuck that. We've already done this before. It was one
your
of
balls were hanging
the
out?
most humiliating experiences of my life. And at least it wasn't a long bit. Fucking 2 hours long. I'm perched up like this with my balls tucked, looking like a rabbit tail.
We'll tell all these girls that we got a hot South Florida Latin male model. I mean, this guy is coveted.
is pretty
Body
hilarious.
Electric.
Yep.
You guys are going to be so wet when he walks in the room, and then we walk Jay Bird in.
Well, back in his home country, they called him the Body Electric.
Body
Body
Electric.
Electric in his home country.
I mean, it's great for the show, terrible for the psyche.
You walk in wearing nothing but your Dolphins hat.
No, it's a good.
It's a ski cap.
It's a good move. But what sucks about those type of bits is it's fine for about 5 minutes, but then when it goes for
After a while.
30 minutes, like, why is this fat guy
You
bent
don't-
over?
You don't know these girls.
No, you are. Kevin's giving me good advice. You're giving me bad.
We'll let you drink.
Well, that's going to be going on regardless. I'm drinking today, motherfucker. Although I have not drank on the show. Few people thought I was drunk all day. No, it's just me.
Just me. That's what I do. Yeah, if you were doing a bachelorette party, yeah, you can just kind of go down Clematis Street if you want to do that. You've got a couple places you can check out. There's kind of a dance place that's a little bit up there. A lot of them are just mainly bar places. The thing that is kind of nice, you could start in the 500 block, which is a little bit more chill and kind of alternative and hipster, and in the afternoon or earlier, and then you can kind of move your way down to Bradley's if you're heading in that direction. And then you've got, on your way down there, you got a place where you can go dancing if you want. I don't know if West Palm's the best town to go out in, though, of all the places. It seems like Atlantic Avenue and Delray is, maybe the best place you might want to go.
Maybe they have a hotel already booked in West Palm.
Maybe.
I don't know what
Yeah.
your situation is, but if you have the ability to go on Atlantic Avenue, I think that's a little bit better of a hot spot right now.
It is. I would say so, yeah.
And
As
they
of right
fluctuate,
now.
but
Yeah.
in the current times, you can still have fun on Clematis, but I think that Delray Atlantic Ave is hotter.
Yeah. In fact, somebody emailed us about a Delray Atlantic Avenue thing, and Throw Social seems to be hot. Salt is big. Tin Roof is huge. And then there's a whole bunch of other bars up along the way. So I think it's more compact and maybe a little bit more fun than West Palm.
You think a lot of old people go to Tin Roof and do the Tin Roof Rusted? You think they do that? And
Never seen it.
all the Generation Z's like, boomer, get the fuck out of here.
I've never heard Love Shack and Tin Roof.
There's my point. So I'm that guy in there.
Yeah, you're that
Tin
guy.
Roof Rusted.
And everybody goes, who let him in?
Who is that? The
Somebody let their dad in.
who let the Body Electric in here? Holy shit! Get the camera.
It's Body Electric.
I love that nickname.
Body Electric. Yeah, and as Grant said, Clematis Social is a good place in West Palm for the dancing. It used to be Monkey Club, and then last place it was Pawn Shop, and so now it's Clematis Social.
Okay.
There you go. Let me see a couple more emails here. Nick from Melbourne said, I just want to let you know I'm going through the exact same thing with my dad that Virginia is with hers. My mom recently passed, leaving my dad by himself. He's also very depressed and sad and cries a lot when I talk to him. He can't stop replaying my mother's death from cancer over and over in his mind.
Oh, boy.
He lives in upstate New York, so I've come up here from Florida to be with him for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure how to help him either, other than to try to keep him busy and allow time to heal him. I think I've convinced him to get a dog for companionship and to go back to part-time work. He is retired, but having a routine every day will hopefully help. On a lighter note, I drove to New York from Florida and listened to all of last week's podcast on my drive. Thank you so much. I'll be saving this week's for my ride back.
Nice.
Makes the drive not so boring.
It does, man. When you have a podcast that you like to listen to on a road trip, you wake up and realize you're there. And even if you're like driving, it kind of puts you in like a mesmerized state and you're not bored.
I think the situation for the dad, unfortunately, and when you're in depression and you're too far in it, it's hard for you to get advice like stay busy, keep a routine, do. But in all honesty, that really is. It's such good advice, and it's going to get you out of your a busy mind doesn't have as much time to be depressed. Now, I'm not saying it's a cure-all and it's going to fix you, but if you get into things, whether it is a dog or whether it's a league that you want to, or writing or a hobby, and you really throw yourself in there, I'm not saying it's going to cure your depression, but it's going to take your mind off it a bit. And you'll be surprised the amount of change, good change that can happen in your life.
You have to have stuff to look forward to and be excited about.
Yes.
And I think, I'm telling my dad that I'm coming up there right after July 4th, me and Rocco are going to go up there and visit him. He was all excited about that. He can't wait because we're going to stay with him and just make it fun. You know, give him some energy.
It does suck when it comes to all this grieving stuff. The only thing that really is going to help you is time. I mean, I know you could speak upon that, Kevin. I mean, you're going to be sad when people pass away. You just don't want to live down there to the point where you can't get out of there. It's very normal to be sad and depressed and feel like there's no hope. You just can't camp out there.
Yeah. Well, life is forward progress. It's always moving forward, and you can't get back into the past. Now, you can look back with fondness and have great memories, but if you don't continue to recognize your life as moving forward and having things that you're enjoying and things that you're doing to say, I still have life left in me, I still have great things to enjoy, I have more memories to make. If you can't get that perspective, then it's tough. And often when I hear this, it sounds like he's trying to somehow get himself and break through a wall to get back to where life was when his wife was there, and that just can't happen.
No.
And then the depression can also lead to more depression because you're in the state of depression. You don't want to get out of it, and then you think that's the new way of the world, and it's not. It's hard to get out of there sometimes.
I'm proud of my dad because at least the face he shows to me is one of saying, your mom and I had some great memories. He loves telling stories about her, but he realizes she's gone. She's not coming back. He's not going to see her in this lifetime. But he still has things that he enjoys. He loves his jokes. He loves his dogs. He loves his guns. And so he's surrounding his life with that. And he has also, he has a law office, and he keeps that open so that the people that work there have jobs. And so he says, look, I've got a purpose. People still rely on me here.
Right.
On this earth.
I mean, I've had close people pass away, and I have mental issues, so I feel like I can speak upon it, and I can tell you when a busy mind is a better mind. It just is, especially if you throw some passion in a project you really want to do. Try to be creative if you can.
Yep. Now, this one is somebody that wants a little bit of help. They're 46-year-old male. And to basically sum up what was going on here, they found out something about their biological father. My grandmother, in a random conversation, told me exactly who my father is and why my mother wouldn't tell me the truth. Ooh. For the record, my biological father is dead. And I found out that he was sleeping with my mother and her sisters and had children with 2 of them. Oh. And I was one of those children. So I just basically found out that 3 of my cousins are actually half-sisters.
Damn.
So my dilemma is this. I've never told my mother that I knew the truth, but I've held some resentment about it for the last couple of years, and she's now older and suffering some health issues, and I just want to get a little bit of her side of it to fill in some of the gaps, but I'm afraid that if I bring it up, I may open old wounds that have been buried all these years, but I really want to know for my own sake, and the time is ticking. I need advice on how I should approach this.
I think you should approach it gingerly, but it is your right to have honest, truth conversation with the woman that gave birth to you and have her explain the whole situation. Mm-hmm. You want to hear it from her. It is your right to hear that. I think these kind of secrets are the worst kind of secrets because every child deserves to know where they came from. It is not fair if you have those things and you're going to take them to the grave and not share them. I think these are the worst kind of secrets. And there's so many older generation that did this, that keep these secrets. And now it's painful.
You think most humans take at least one big secret to the grave? Or most
probably,
humans?
Yeah, I would say so. One that really nobody knew about, if anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys have been married for quite a long time. You're supposed to tell your husband and wife everything. There's got to be shit that your mate does not know, that nobody knows about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody's got stuff that they don't talk about. But if it's paternity, if it affects another human's DNA, like you owe them that. You owe them an explanation about why dad wasn't involved in their life and then what happened. And unfortunately, he's dead now, so he can't tell you his side. She's all you've got. But don't come at her with anger Don't come at her and get her all upset. Just come at it from a look, I was given this information. I know it's true, and I just wanted to hear your side of it because I love you.
Right. Create a safe space.
Exactly. You'll get more information out of people if you come at them nice than if you come at them upset. You got to let the anger go and get your answers by being a sweetie.
Got an email from Richard. He said, I want to know if any of your parents have wanted you to follow in their footsteps and their career. No, my dad had his own law office, but he was a big proponent of doing what you were made to do, and he never put any kind of pressure on me.
Yeah, since I was a little kid, especially my dad, the juicy daddy, always told me, try to find something you love to do for your work, and then it won't feel like work. He really always said that to me. He goes, try to find something you love to do.
And look at you.
I mean, it really did stay with me.
Turns out you can get a paycheck for Goofy.
Yeah. It's a good thing. There was an email that I had here just a second ago, and I don't know what the hell I've done with it, but you were talking about how you had written a song for an ex once upon a time.
Who, me?
It came up on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I've written a few, unfortunately.
Bangers, Kev.
Oh, yeah. No, they definitely were.
That song I remember specifically because it was just, riddled in cheese dickness. I'm a cheesy fuck as it is, but holy Velveeta bird. It was fuck.
Yeah. Friday on the ATS, we were talking about it, and Jeff had sent an email. He said, I am the husband Virginia said could go scratch. You guys were talking about the song that Bird had written for a girlfriend at the time, but didn't want to play it as it may offend her husband. Well, as a husband, I'm all for playing it.
Oh.
I tried to get it from my wife to send to Virginia, as she said she'd pay a large sum to hear it again, but my wife doesn't have the laptop it was on.
Oh my gosh, I do not want
Look,
that.
this guy's cool.
No, I know.
Look, if this guy was the only thing standing in the way of us hearing this masterpiece.
Agreed. That's whatever. That's fine.
This guy's awesome.
As long as it doesn't make him or her uncomfortable, you can play it as much as
Jeff's
you
a
want.
very cool dude. I got to hang out with him at a Miami Heat game one time.
Jeff.
In the Hair Club suite. So it was,
And
he's a great dude.
That's her husband.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
And so he said, I also put two and two together during the ATS from a few weeks ago where the Bird broke up with a girlfriend because her parents didn't approve of his Dr. Filthy bit.
Uh-oh.
When the Bird was talking about a very bizarre phone call from her dad, and he talked in that slow draw Christian voice, I literally spit my water out and was laughing so hard because it all made sense. I've received many of those bizarre phone messages from the same man. Well, thanks to the laughs as always.
He's you 2.0.
Yeah.
Well, that is very funny, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. She is a great
she's
person. Really
and
is.
Jeff is great.
Everybody
they're very
loves
happy.
her.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the problem. I'm the issue. Well,
Her
that's
dad
cool.
was right.
Run, go! But super great. I'm glad to hear that. I like when there's no weirdness.
Yes, that's the way it should be. Because
Agreed.
you're not sniffing around
No.
trying to steal anybody back.
No.
And that's just so cool of him to write in. I'm
Yeah,
sorry I
he's-
told
like
you
I
to go
said,
scratch.
He's a good dude. Very good dude. So let me see anything else that we got here. I think that's about all the emails that we got for today. If you haven't heard yours yet, we'll try to get to it tomorrow here on the show. So thank you very much for tuning in. Send those emails to us. mail@kvjshow.com. mail@kvjshow.com. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.